What's going on, guys? Chris here. So I know I've been doing a lot of 3D printer videos, and I usually do mostly air guns, but I do some car and truck stuff in between, because most of the stuff I do on my vehicles, it's kind of hard to record. So I've been trying to do segments and put some of the videos together, but they haven't been very, edited. Well, none of mine really are all that edited. I have very little editing, but I'm just being honest. But anyways, this one I feel like was important, especially if you have a Dodge Challenger. So I have a Dodge Challenger, and I did a lot of work to it, but the engine and transmission don't have, like, their stock engine, transmission, and even the differential. The drive shaft and the clutch are aftermarket, and and the drive shafts, but that turned out not to be such a good thing. I broke a stock drive shaft, which is what made me get the new half shafts. I got Geforce. They were like $2,000, and they're supposed to be good for like 1,500 pounds of torque, right? So this car is not 1,500 foot-pounds of torque. There's no way, and it snapped one. So I'm going to show you this. If you can see it, let me see what I'm showing you. If you can see in there, do you see the shaft of the axle sticking out of the differential, and how it's like loose from it? Hold on, let me try to reach in there and wiggle it. It's literally separated. It just like snapped. I gotta get, actually there's weight on it, so I can't do it right now, but once I get these components apart, I'll take another clip and I'll show you. But I could definitely see it. It's hanging down. You see it? There's where it's supposed to be. That's the bushing in the differential where it's supposed to be sitting. So it's definitely not sitting there. It's way down underneath it. It's pretty ridiculous for something like that to break with such a. I barely use these. I mean, there's not a bit of rust on them, not even surface rust. I mean, these things haven't even seen like, I don't know, not even 1,000 miles. It's a ridiculous amount for something like this to be happening. It's not cool for $2,000 axles. It's just not. And the worst part is they didn't even want to stand behind their stuff. Well, I can't say that completely. I don't know. But what they wanted me to do was to take apart my car and send the axle to them after showing them a picture of it snapped in half. Like, what are you going to see in person that you can't see in a photo of the shaft broken off? You see it still in the differential on the car, right? I mean, how much different can that look in person? I mean, you're going to see a broken piece of metal, right? Just like you see in a photo. It's not going to be anything special because it's in front of you. Anyways, so I'm supposed to leave the car on the lift for, I don't know, 2 weeks by the time they get it, and then do whatever they're going to do and send me back, whatever. So they want it to be dicks. So guess what? I'm being a dick back. So I don't do that unless somebody's a dick to me. But they were a dick, and so guess what? Now I already ordered a new set, and I'm gonna send these ones back. Tough shit. I'll make my own warranty. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna stand for it. It's just like they're warranted way long. I've only had them for a couple months. I mean, these are warranted. I think it's like 3 years or something. And that's their warranty. Like, take your car apart, occupy your lift for 2 weeks, because you won't be able to move the car once you take the drive shaft out, the axle out, because I can't put the wheel back on. I can't even push it. So leave it on your lift for as long as it takes for us to do this, so you can't work on anything else. And I mean, come on, dude. You can't just send me an axle and I'll send you the parts back when I change it. I don't understand. I'll even pay for it until you get the other one back. I would have been fine with that, but this is just ridiculous. It's just, I mean, I don't know how normal people, like, not that I'm a totally normal person, but I don't know how anybody, even somebody that has a lift, but if you don't have a lift, when I didn't have a lift, oh my God, this would have been brutal. This is a hard job to do without a lift. It's not. I mean, I did the whole differential, the drive shaft in this car, everything, the clutch, took the transmission out twice, the whole exhaust. It's a lot of work to do when you can't lift the car up and you're on jack stands. It's crazy. And then you're gonna leave it. You're gonna do that and leave it. I mean, I guess it would be better to leave it on jack stands. You could do it wherever you want. Anyways, this is not the kind of job that I'm gonna do on jack stands when I have a lift. When I didn't, I did anything I could, any way I had to. But I mean, I have the jack stands now. Why would I do it that way? So, anyways, I was kind of pissed off about that. I mean, the axles should not be in. This should not be happening in this amount of miles. It's not normal. So, I mean, can I say that this is going to happen to all of them? Of course not. I don't know. This is my first and only set that I got from them. Well, now I have my second set that's going to replace it, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't have a lot of experience with them, so I don't want to go saying that all their stuff is bad, because I don't know. But I know that I shouldn't be having this experience. This is not, I mean, this car is powerful as hell, but it's not, these are overrated for it. These were the drive shafts that I got for the 426 stroke motor I'm planning on putting in it with the supercharger. And when it's in the 12 to 1500 horsepower range, then if these broke, I wouldn't have been all that surprised. But right now, it's totally unjustified. Anyways, I just thought it was worth doing a short video. I will bring it back when I take this apart. I'm starting to take it apart now. I will bring you back and show you what's going on in here, and let you see it in pieces, so you can be warned, just in case you were to buy a set and then it happens to you. But like I said, I don't know if it will. I don't know if it's common. I haven't even looked online to see if I had any other people have the same problem yet, but I'm sure I will, and I'll let you know, but I haven't as of yet. So anyways, I'll be back with you in a little bit and show you how this goes later. And sorry about the sound. I did not bring a mic or anything. I just brought the GoPro. I'll see you guys in a few. What's up, guys? Chris here. Another half an hour, 45 minutes worth of tired. So take a look. So this is the axle. I haven't popped it out of, as soon as I got it, as soon as I got it completely down where I could actually show you what's going on, like as far as the shaft that's stuck in here. Let me turn my headlight back on. I didn't want to flash your face, but that's the shaft of it, still in the differential, which I'm not really sure how I'm going to get out yet. I'm probably going to drill a hole in it and then put like a reversing tool in there and get it to grip it, and then yank it out by that. That's what I'm thinking anyway, because there's not a whole lot of it to grab onto with anything. But this is the other end that's sheared. I mean, this thing should never have broken. It's not enough horsepower and not enough torque for the ratings on these. It just is not. I haven't had it long enough for it to be any kind of wear and tear. This is just faulty manufacturing, and you can almost see like it's from the casting of this metal. It's definitely from the casting of the metal for sure. Anyways, I'm gonna send some detailed photographs to them so that they I mean, obviously there's no way that this should have happened. I mean, I put this big ass bracket on my differential, right? So there's no give. I mean, this thing is locked in. It's solid. The whole rear subframe has got carriage lockouts on it. You see up there? So the subframe barely moves, and the differential doesn't move. Like that I had to take this whole entire thing apart because it has no give whatsoever. It's stuck, and you can't get the axle over the exhaust. I've actually taken these out without having to take this whole arm apart, like completely, while it was still in one piece. So that's that whole shaft still on it that much longer. I've been able to get the whole thing out, and I couldn't even get this out like this. That's recent. I did that when I put the differential and these axles I had already had, but I put the differential in and the bracket and the lockouts all at once, and I hadn't had a problem since until this. So it doesn't look good for Geforce, unfortunately. I had high hopes, but and I also, when I called them and sent them a picture, I assumed they would at least like, hey, well, we screwed up, let's make it right. No, you got to make you make it right. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I have anything positive I can actually say right now. I'm not going to go saying anything more negative because that's my experience. I'm not going to make assumptions about anything else that they do. And like I said before, I don't know if this happens to too many other people. I haven't had a chance to look, but what I do know is that it should not have happened here. This is way too few miles. I don't know exactly how many miles, but I know, I mean, I could definitely find out. I know how many miles were on the car when I bought it. And I bought it with like 36,000. And the most recent I checked, it was around 50. Let's see. Yeah, 57, 51. I put probably 700 miles on this car since I put those on. Because it's spring right now. So this car, I just started taking it out. Like, this was the third time I drove it. It's May. It's the middle towards the end of May. So 3 times this season I drove it, and then this happened. And it didn't even happen when I was driving fast. It happened in my parking lot. I was literally like moving the car slowly to get it out of the way of my machine, and this is what happened. I lost all power, and it was because honestly I thought the differential had gone, but no, the differential held up. I mean, it's got a 4-inch aluminum drive shaft that obviously wasn't going anywhere. With that lock thing, the bracket, I don't think that differential is ever going to go anywhere, honestly, unless the gears break. But I mean, it's locked in place. See, that's the 4-inch drive shaft up there in the middle. It's like bigger than the exhaust. It is bigger than the exhaust, actually. It's bigger than the freaking resonating tubes. And that's the locking bracket. So it has a big CNC aluminum piece that goes onto the differential itself, and then another one that bolts up to the frame, and then a 21 millimeter through bolt that goes through both of them, and this grommet, and it locks these together, and this thing just can't move at all. So it gets crazy good traction now. It gets really a lot better traction than it ever did. So I don't know why I'm even putting this in. I gotta take this whole side apart too, but anyway. So I just wanted to show you guys that's what it looks like when it's out. That's how badly it broke. It's pretty horrendous, honestly. I mean, if I had seen this before I bought this, I never would have bought them. No question about it. I wish I had seen something like this. I wish somebody had taken the time to put a video. If anybody's had this experience, it could be a fluke. Like I said, I don't know. I don't want to prejudge, because if I'm wrong and it's a fluke, then it might not be their fault. I mean, maybe they pay somebody to do part of this and they screwed up. I don't know. And I'm not going to shit on somebody about something I don't know. But what I do know is they should have at least made it right when I called. I mean, that's at the very least. Anyways, that was very disappointing, but it is what it is. There's always a way to fix things yourself, like I'm doing right now. But anyways, I will bring you guys back when everything's back together and this thing is ripping down the road again. All right, later. What's up, guys? Chris here, exhausted and tired and beat the hell up. This car beat the shit out of me tonight. So I started showing you guys the whole axle fiasco with these Geforce axles. This has been such a rude awakening as to like how bad these axles are. I mean, really, I'm going to show you, so don't take my word for it. I'm going to grab a pair of pliers because I literally just got the last piece of it out. This thing was broken. I had to pull. It took me hours to get the first piece out because I brought my welder outside, and I was hoping not to have to bring this big tank out. I don't know if you can see it right now because it's just getting light out, but right here, the big tank. I didn't want to have to bring the gas out, so I tried to use flux cord and a stick weld. None of it would work. I should have just brought the gas out in the first place, but I mean, that wasn't all the time. I tried a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, the only thing that got these parts of the axle out was welding a bolt to it and pulling it out with a slide hammer. So it's been a fun night. You probably hear the birds chirping. That's because it's like 5 in the morning. So it was a long and exhausting night. So this is the last section I just got out. Looks like fun, right? So the section before it is like it's so twisted and cracked. I can't even believe that that's part of that axle. It was $2,000 for that set of axles. The two axles were like $2,200. It's insane. I mean, for this few miles with a stock differential, and that differential is what's doing that to that axle. I mean, it's literally twisting it on a stock differential. It shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it's very discouraging. It really is. It's because imagine if I had like an aftermarket 1,500, 2,000 horsepower differential. Those things would have been destroyed a long time ago. I mean, obviously they never even made it. They didn't even make it past stock. The car's not stock. I'm not saying it's completely stock, but it's not. The car's not. It's not that. Well, I mean, it's got a race clutch. It's got big tires, 315s, but it's also got good suspension, new suspension, sway bars, end links, control arms, the Brembo brakes, the differential brakes, I mean, really everything to do with steering and suspension has been upgraded with top of the line components. So there's no reason for these drive shafts to be blown out that quick, and especially not like this. This is like a catastrophic failure. This is like, I've never even seen an axle get blown apart like this anywhere on any car. I mean, I don't do a whole lot of axle work other than on my own vehicles. I'm not a mechanic. I'm mechanical, but I'm not a mechanic. I only work on my own stuff or my friend's stuff. I don't do this for a living, but anyway, I'm just saying. I mean, I have seen a lot of stuff on cars over the years through friends and through my own cars, and you know, anybody that I deal with, but I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a CV axle or any other axle, straight axle, whatever, just literally get torn apart like this. And I mean, if this was like a 2,000 horsepower car, it would make sense, but it's not. It's like 700 horsepower. It's half of what these things are supposed to be able to take. Where did I put the first piece that I pulled out? I took some photos of it because I'm eager to send them in and let them see how horribly destroyed this thing got. It's really horrendous, honestly. So I gotta say, I would not recommend Geforce axles in any way, shape, or form after seeing this. So, I mean, I don't know if this has ever happened to any other people, or like I said earlier, but at the same time, whether it has or not, I would never buy them again. So I will definitely, you know, Drive Shaft Shop has some stuff. I just saw a set of axles that was rated up to 2,000 horsepower from them, and it was right around the same price as these. So honestly, I should have done that in the first place, but it is what it is. I'll obviously do that next time, but anyways, hopefully you guys will not have to learn the same lesson, because I learned it for you, you know, not on purpose, but I did. Why not share the information, and hopefully somebody will save themselves a whole lot of this kind of thing, and a whole lot of money, and a whole lot of time, and a whole lot of long, hard nights like this. Anyways, if I can save one person all of that, it's substantial enough to do these videos. So hopefully, you know, this helps somebody out. Anyways, as far as, you know, I didn't record the whole process of me, well, any of the process really of me taking this apart, because I've already done it. I think I did the differential. I think I recorded doing, or so I did something back here. It might have been installing the axles. I don't remember. I know I did something in the rear end and I recorded it. I don't remember exactly. Oh, it might have been. Oh, that was the trailing arms. My trailing arms in the back, which are now these bar style. Not that's the sway bar. These. So they were like a T style gusset and like, you know, half inch steel, but the gusset didn't even have a full weld. It was just like bead welded. It TIG welded in a few spots. It should have been a solid weld, like through and through the whole way on each side. I don't know why it wasn't, but they literally folded in half. I had one of them actually snapped in half, and it's a good thing I wasn't driving when that happened. I mean, there are like 3 control arms on each wheel, so I don't think it would have been like a total crash, but it would have been a big deal. So it's lucky I caught it before it actually snapped. I mean, it did actually snap by the time I got the wheel off, but I don't know. It wasn't when I was driving. I know that. I mean, I knew it was getting bad because I had seen it. I mean, I knew something was going on. I looked and I had seen it, but I didn't have the new ones yet, so I just didn't drive it. So when I got the new ones, I put them in. Anyways, I'm gonna go get my new axles and put those in now. I'll put this one in anyway. I'll do the other one tomorrow or Monday. It's Friday. I'm going home. Spend the weekend at home. I definitely need it. But it's been real. It's been fun. Just hasn't been real fun. Anyway, hopefully, more importantly than anything, hopefully somebody is watching this because you have a Challenger and you're thinking about doing the axles and you're considering, you know, whatever options are out there, Drive Shaft Shop, Geforce, or anything else that might be out there. And hopefully I can give you the experience that I had. And if I had to make a recommendation, it would be don't buy these axles. I would not buy another pair of Geforce if someone paid me, and no one's offering to pay me, so there's definitely no chance of me buying them. Okay, so that's about it for this one. I'm gonna get my car back together. Well, one side of it at least, and I'll finish it up during the week. But anyways, more importantly, I gotta get home and go to bed. So appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Later. Hey guys, it's Chris. So I'm underneath my car, and the job is finally done. I got the new axles in. I had to change the axle seal on the side where I was welding everything to it, obviously, with good reason, because the welds weren't holding, and I had to put a grinder in there with a wire wheel. Obviously, that's a recipe for disaster for a seal, but I anticipated it, and I had my old differential because I've already broken a differential right off of the car. The differential is fine, the gears and everything inside, but the housing that holds it to the frame was destroyed. Like the bolts ripped right out, and you know, one of the hangers broken right off. I broke the drive shaft out of it, and all 8 bolts were like bent. It literally twisted them. So now that's why I got that differential bracket, and I'll show it to you in a second. But that's been great. I mean, now, you know, the axles couldn't take it. Hopefully these axles will take it. So I'll show you the axles. I just was up here looking at, this is my transmission. I did a video a while ago when I changed the clutch, and the clutch has been like squeaking. I don't know why. It's engaging perfectly, it's disengaging perfectly, and it's been over a year since I did it, and it's been great the whole time. It's a full metallic race clutch, so it's a little abrasive, but you get used to it. Or I've gotten used to it. Now I kind of like it. It engages really, really thoroughly. But anyways, I was just opening this up and using a borescope to check it out inside. But the clutch looks good. It's probably just part of the wearing process. I'm going to check with Graham Clutches. It's like a $5,000 clutch. The owner actually helped me out with the install because it's a very... I've done clutches before, but this one had to be like very specific, like to the thousandth of an inch where it was set, like within a I forget what the range was, like 80 thousandths of an inch maybe. It had to be very accurate. So I had a caliper out here and like taking all these measurements for the clutch to be in there perfectly in the right space. And I know it wasn't going to work otherwise because, well, that's not true. I had the wrong part sent to me twice during that job, so it was a nightmare. But anyways, the new let me grab the light because you're not gonna be able to see. I got the tires back on and everything. It's ready to go. So so the new axles are in here. Here we go. Let's see. All right, there they are. That's the new axle. I put my my neoprene, seal savers on it. With the I use my heavy metal zip ties for it. So this here, the spring arm, is the only thing that I really haven't changed on the steering and suspension. The sway bar, the end links, the upper and lower control arms, everything else is new. Let's see, this where did I get that one from? I got all with the ball joints. I didn't get any of the grease fittings. Let's see, ball joints on that one. And the front, I did all of them too. I did every single one on the front. But they do have grease fittings. The control arms do. The upper and lower control arms, I did Moog up front. These are more because of the wheel hop. I did these back here, which they've helped tremendously. But honestly, this differential bracket has helped more than anything. This helped with the wheel hop. And I did this at the same time as the rear subframe lockouts, the rear carriage lockouts, which are, where are they? Right there. That's not this, right behind the spring. That plate right there. And there's another one on top, and those lock the bushing in place. And then there's another set in front, on the front one, which you can't see because it's underneath the splash guard. But let's see if I can get. Yeah, you can kind of see it right here. There it is. So there's another on all four connections with all four bushings. They're locked in place, and then you can see I did the 4-inch aluminum drive shaft after I blew the drive shaft, and locked in the differential and the subframe, and did those other axles, which lasted, like such a ridiculously small amount of time. The clutch was way before that. That was a night. It's been a nightmare. I keep breaking everything on this car. Because meanwhile I'm doing all these repairs, and these are all upgrades that I was doing also, because I had intended on doing the I was going to do the motor. I still may. I'm contemplating now, because I've spent so much time and energy on the car without doing that. But I was going to put a stroked 426 motor, which I was going to have to do the axles and the differential and the drive shaft and all that kind of stuff, which I've done all of it. I've done all of it for all four wheels. The entire, even the rack and pinion steering, the sway bar and all the suspension, all the steering components. I've done all of them. And the Brembo brakes, they have carbon fiber ceramic brake pads. It stops on a dime, really. It goes 100 to 0 in like 4.5 seconds. It's ridiculous. It stops faster than it goes. So I've done a lot of work to it, but thinking about taking the motor out of this car now. I mean, I still may do it, but it's not going to be right now. I just don't have the time or the energy for it with all the other stuff going on, air gun competitions and building 3D printers, and it's just I have 3 businesses to run on top of all this, so it's just too much. I'm getting a little exhausted. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit and probably put it off till maybe in the winter. I'm not going to do it for this season, obviously. It's already spring, late spring. It's already almost June, so I'm not going to get the motor in it this year, but maybe the end of this year for next year. But I won't be driving in it with it until next year at the very earliest. If I decide to do it, it won't be until at least that long. But the car's a beast as it is. Obviously, I keep breaking parts on it because those were 1,500 horsepower rated axles, and I just blew it to pieces. So it's definitely a powerful car for sure. These now are 2000. They're stage 5, so I don't think that these are going to be. Then again, I didn't think the other ones would. I would have bought these in the first place if I thought I needed to. I didn't think it was necessary, but clearly it was. Anyways, what I will do is I have a generator out here. I use it for the 220 for the lift because I didn't want to have to run a number 10 wire, because I would have had to go out like underground with it, because I didn't really want it up in the air, because I got my machine and the boom is like 35 feet high, so I didn't want to hit it with anything. So I would have had to go underground, and it was just not even worth it. I just put a generator. So that's the generator. I just fire it up when I need to move the car up or down, and I'll drop it down so you guys can actually hear the car. Oh, actually, I'm gonna need to go back up because I gotta put that cover plate on the clutch where I was looking at it. But I'll start it up for you real quick, and I'll do that off camera. So under the hood, I've already done quite a bit. This is a 100mm throttle body on the throttle. The intake is fully enclosed, and the only air that's going into the intake is through the both headlights. I didn't just do the one, I did that one and this one. So I made a hole in the box, and I put a flange, and I ran a hose right from there all the way to the other side. So I have the rubber boot going from this one to the airbox, and then I have a flange coming off the side, and it goes all the way over here and goes to this headlight. So both center headlights are intakes, and the hood scoop. Those are the only places it gets air intake, which is why the intake air is like within 10 or 15 degrees of outside temperature when I'm driving. So it's pretty insane how much it actually did. Let me shut this off so you can hear the car. This thing is pretty loud. Sorry about that. All right, let me just fire this thing up. I miss this car. I put a super damper on it too. I did the harmonic balancer. I did the super damper on it. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a it's your crankshaft pulley. Let me get the light. I'll show you quickly. I'm gonna end this video shortly here. It's not going to be a long one because I just wanted to show you guys the finished product and wrap it up. But you see it right there with underneath. It's the big pulley underneath this pulley with the numbers on it. That's the it's called a super damper. It has a whole bunch of bushings in it, or O-rings rather. They use O-rings because they apparently do a hell of a job of dampening vibrations, which it actually really did. And honestly, it makes you have to get a 1-inch bigger serpentine belt. So that also made it actually made a pretty big difference in not only the sound dampening, the vibrations, but it also increases horsepower. They say you get like 40 horsepower out of that. I mean, I don't think I actually did get 40 horsepower, but I'll tell you one thing, the long tube headers made a huge difference. I did the whole exhaust from the engine all the way to the tailpipes. High flow catalytic converters, I did put cats back in because it's got to be, just so it's emission compliant, because I got enough shit with the diesel trucks, let alone, you know, gas cars. But the high flow cats made a huge difference, and you look inside them compared to regular catalytic converters, it's a dramatic difference, really a dramatic difference. You can't even see through regular catalytic converters, and these are like a waffle shape but there's big openings, you know, like there's still catalytic converters, but there are a lot more airflow. And then there's just resonators, there's no mufflers. So the resonators are, you know, they're like cylindrical. It's a MagnaFlow catback setup, but I love it. I love the sound of it. I mean, it's loud as hell, but it's loud as hell, and it just sounds so good. I don't even want to turn the radio on sometimes when I'm driving it. But anyways, hopefully these axles don't leave me stranded again. I'm hoping. I mean, you know, the whole drive line, other than those, has been already done and has not been giving me any problems. Also, after I was done, I did the seal, but I also obviously had to change the differential fluid. So I use only AMSOIL gear oil. That's the only thing I put in my car. Honestly, in this car, I've never put anything but AMSOIL for any fluid at all. The motor oil, antifreeze, brake fluid, which is also clutch fluid, gear oil, every single fluid that's ever been, even freaking windshield washer fluid. I haven't put anything in this car that wasn't from AMSOIL. I definitely highly recommend them. I use them for my trucks too. They make incredible diesel oil for diesel trucks, and even filters, and all their stuff is really top of the line. I mean, you pay for it like it's top of the line, but it is top of the line. You get what you pay for, like everything else. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys the finished product. Yeah, I'm a fucking mess, excuse me, but yeah, I didn't even realize how dirty I was. It was dark before. I'm gonna lift this thing back up, put the cover back on, go home and take a shower and get some sleep, but I am gonna take this thing for a quick burst first. I would take you guys with me for taking a burst and let you see how fast this thing is, which I've done in the past, but I can't keep the camera anywhere that it's gonna stay. I gotta figure that out. I will take you guys for a ride next time I have some kind of a mount that will actually hold the camera, but there's so much. I mean, it actually has on the screen where you can see the Geforce. I haven't looked at it while I was driving with the camera, but I mean, it can be pretty intense when I'm really getting on it, and I tend to really get on it every time I drive it. So anyways, that's why I keep breaking shit, but I keep fixing it. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here. So bottom line is, guys, really think twice if you're thinking about Geforce axles for any vehicle, because if they are making them that are supposed to be 1500 horsepower for this particular car, and I'm using a stock differential, granted I have a race clutch and a 4-inch drive shaft that's a straight drive shaft, but it's the same power, it's the same motor, the same differential, it's the same thing transferring the power after those aftermarket accessories, aftermarket parts, and it's the same motor creating the power. Yes, the motor's even a little modified, but I'm half the horsepower. I'm like 750, 800 horsepower tops. That's half. There's no way this should have happened in such a short period of time. To me, it's kind of mind-blowing. And it's not even like it failed in a joint. It literally, the whole shaft just shattered. I mean, I showed you guys the parts. It's ridiculous. I just can't even believe that this actually happened. I'm still a little blown away by it. Anyways, it just is what it is. I mean, they're fixed. I got new axles in it. I got my car back. I can you know, work on the other miscellaneous small things that I got to finish on it and enjoy it this spring and summer. But just be careful, think twice. Honestly, drive shaft shop. That's what I would recommend. Okay, all right, guys. Good talking to you. Good. Hopefully, honestly, that I got through to somebody that was thinking about buying axles from these guys, because even when I called them, they were such dicks on the phone. Honestly, they really were. They were such dicks on the phone. They're like, "Oh, you don't want to send? You could give me your credit card for another $2,200 set of axles after you just bought a set that completely blew apart." And you could see in the parts that these were cast. They should have been, this kind of part should be machined. It shouldn't be cast. This is definitely cast. I don't know exactly what kind of metal it is, but that was definitely cast, and it was a faulty cast. You see that? I mean, that's my weld on the top with the bolt, but this where it blew apart right in half. I mean, that's a bad cast. And I don't know why it was cast to begin with. but that was definitely cast, and I'm pissed off that it was cast, honestly. This should be a machined part. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't make axles. I don't make the rules on how to make them, but you know, I'm disappointed, to say the least. But anyways, hopefully it'll help you guys not have the same problem, because the guys, I mean, I talked to a guy. He said he was in charge. I said, oh, do you own the place? Because unless you do, you're not in charge. I own 4 LLCs. I know, trust me. If you don't own it, it's not yours. So don't tell me you're the boss. And he didn't have a response, but I wasn't getting anybody after him either. So anyways, I made my point. I got my new axles regardless of what they wanted to do or didn't. And sometimes you just got to force their hand and do what you got to do. But you know, they made me do it this time, but it's unfortunate, because I would have rather that they worked with me and had an amicable resolution, that I could have continued to do business with them in the future if this was a one-time thing, which I don't know if it was. But after that experience, I don't have any desire to do business with them ever again. And hopefully you won't either, because I don't want anybody else to have to deal with a company like that. Yeah, I mean, if whoever does own the company lets this guy get on the phone and talk to customers like that, it's not the kind of business you want to deal with. Anyways, hopefully you guys you'll learn from my mistakes. All right, have a great night, guys.